Okay, Jessica. So today is really just about you and your experiences. So there's no wrong answers. Our whole objective is just to talk to people who are using Dimension, see what their motivations are and how they're using it, and what other jobs you're doing with your own job. So, do you have any questions for me before we get started?
No, none that I can think of.
Okay, great. Sweet. So let's start off with, where do you live?
I live in Buffalo, New York.
All right. I was there, let's see, a couple years ago.
Oh, really? We just got 6 inches of snow.
Oh man, it wasn't snowing yet when I was there, but it was still pretty cold.
Yeah.
I'm in California. So. Great. And what do you like to do for fun?
I play video games, I draw, paint, do photography here and there.
Awesome. And what's your current title? What's your role right now?
I'm a graphic designer
Okay.
with LSI Solutions.
Okay. And what's LSI?
They're a medical device company, so I'm in-house.
Cool. And how long have you been in this role?
It'll be a year in January.
Cool. Can you tell me a little more about the company?
They're really a medical device company, so like we have a lot of like rules and regulations as far as like packaging design. That's what I mainly work on.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question enough.
Yeah, like even how big is the company itself?
We have about 300 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And my department, there's only 5 of us.
Okay. And can you give me like a breakdown? What are the other roles that people are playing in your department?
There's another graphic designer, 2 multimedia designers, and then my boss does a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Jack of all trades.
Pretty much.
Cool. And so tell me more about your role, specifically, like what, in a typical day, what are all the things that you're working on?
Primarily, I do package design.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mostly do on a daily basis. So I just update, make edits when needed. I mean, every once in a while, I'll do different kinds of design projects, but that's mostly what I work on is packaging.
Okay. So you're mostly updating existing files. Can you walk me through that process? Like you get in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
When I get in, I check my email like everyone else. Mm-hmm. But it's mainly we'll have someone over from another department come in, tell us that they need to need that changing on the packaging. So, and then I update the packaging to whatever necessary changes need to be made. A lot of it's just type-based, like type changes.
And what software are you using to do that?
Illustrator.
Okay. Okay. And you update the file and then what?
I have my boss review it, and then once when it's all set, he gets the needed rounds of approval, then I save out the PDF for print.
And is anyone else doing the approvals besides your boss? Is there other departments involved?
Yeah, there's a lot of other departments. There's like maybe 10, and it's not the art department, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of other people who are involved in this. I don't even really know how many departments are.
Do you get feedback through notes, through email? How does that work?
A little bit of both. We'll get verbal communication, but mostly we use a program, so no one's really going to know what this program is, but I get email notifications that, hey, someone rejected it, and then I need to redo it and re-edit it all.
Oh, cool. So it's like a content management program?
Yeah, it'd pretty much be like, it's like that, but it's not just like for the art industry. It's because we have like engineers and
Got it.
From some of other departments.
Okay. Cool. And what's the final output once you've made all the updates and incorporated all the feedback? Like what do you give back?
As far as what do you mean?
Like the actual file. Is it something you present? Is it something that you just send to somebody like, hey, here's the updated file?
I put it onto that content managing system, and then they take care of the rest. They do whatever.
And that's the AI file?
That's the PDF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we only have access to the AI files.
Okay, so you just export a PDF from Illustrator.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. And you stay in Illustrator the whole time?
For the most part for this, yes.
Yeah, is there any time that you, like any projects where you would try to see it in another program or?
Well, I would use the one thing with dimensions is what I want to do is like to mock up the boxes as to what they would look like. But the thing is like one of the feedbacks I wanted to give you guys was that you can only put one image on one side of the box at a time. Yeah. And it'd be very helpful if I could do more than one image. So like if I could do the front, the side, the back, I would be able to use it a lot more if we were able to do that, because then I could mock up the boxes to show people.
Yeah. We hear you loud and clear. So we are working on a solution there. Would you be open to being contacted about either testing or further questions on just that feature?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great. I will let our team know about that. Yeah, this interview is more for general, but I love that you're giving me feedback because that's a lot of my questions too. Like what else in the app do you feel like is missing so that you can do what you want to do with it?
That was the main concern with it because I came back and I was using it in the office and my boss is like, oh, here, are we able to mock it up so we can show like if it was stacked or if they were all vertical or vice versa. And that's when I realized that I could only put the image on one side.
Got it.
So,
yeah. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Okay, so your deliverable to your client, which is internal, is this AI file. Are there any other projects you work on where you're like presenting things or having to, show a mock-up to somebody?
Not necessarily, because we print it out right now for the mock-ups. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, when I'm doing a lot of them, like to show my boss, we print them out. Okay, and that's before you like have it be finalized? Is that you print it out so you can show people first? Okay. Yeah, I print it out. I show my boss. He'll go through and make sure I have no errors with it. If I do, I'll go back and I'll change it, and then he'll take it over to engineering and they'll look it over, and then that's when the whole internet round starts, pretty much, where I save out the PDF and throw it up there, and then it goes through. It's either accepted or rejected. Got it. Do you use any special printer for that? We use a roll printer. Okay. Okay. So with the workflow that you just described, what's your major challenge? Oh, that's a good question. I usually stay in one program. Like if I have a different type of project, like I also have a poster project that I'm doing that's not as top priority, I'll edit the photos first in Lightroom. Then I'll bring them into Photoshop if I need to do extensive editing. So like if I need to cut the photos out with the background, and then I'll bring it over to InDesign. So this way I know how large the pictures are and the PPI and all that stuff. Got it. That, because there's not really too much of a workflow with when I just use one program. And the biggest challenge, I'm blanking on that at the top of the moment. That's okay. No, that's cool. It means you're so good at your job that you don't need anything. Sure. But with the poster projects, is that something you do often? someone just contacted me from another department to make one for theirs because we have different like labs. So it was like instructions on how to get in and out. So this is my second project. So it's like the fifth or sixth poster I've been doing for them.
Okay.
So I take all the pictures myself and then I edit them.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like when I get something along those lines.
Feeds into your hobby of
that too.
And then on the packaging design side for those, you know, those just editing files, about how many of those are you working on at any given time?
It really all depends. Sometimes it's 1, other times it's 15. So it really all depends on what is needed at the time.
Okay. Okay. Are there any other like end products that you create? Any other projects?
Yeah, there's a few other ones. Like I just updated 300 email signatures. Did it all by hand. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I had
300
email signatures for everyone in-house, and I used Illustrator for that.
Why did it have to be done by hand? I'm just curious.
It was mainly because people like to edit signatures and change fonts, and it was more for like brand unification. A lot of people like to add different GIFs in it, and because they thought it was cool, and so we wanted to have more control over that.
Okay. So you gave each person their own file that you're like, you got to use this now.
Yeah, I gave every person their own JPEG. So
okay.
that they used for their email signature.
Okay. Cool. So let's see. Are there any? So you've now listed pretty much everything in the main Creative Cloud suite. Are there any other? Is there any other software that you use on a regular basis?
It's mainly Illustrator and Photoshop.
Okay.
Mostly, I would say Illustrator. Personally, I like working in InDesign, but a lot of people in my office don't really know InDesign that well. So 3 out of 5 of us know how to use it. So whenever I'm doing like the poster project, I'll do it in InDesign for myself because I know how to use the program more. But like with these packaging updates, they were already created in Illustrator, so I just stay in Illustrator.
All right.
I've been messing around a little bit with Muse, trying to figure out the website template, and I also have been messing around with Spark. But the problem with Spark is that the images compress, so I can't really use that to send out to anyone because when they look great on a computer, but when they get put on the phone, they get downsampled a lot. And I even talked to someone at Spark at Adobe Max, and they told me the dimensions to use, and it doesn't work.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
So what I was trying to do was either recreate it in Prelude. Yeah, no, After Effects. I've been trying to recreate it in After Effects, and then I had a little bit other projects to do that were a little bit more important, so I had to put that one on the back burner. Yeah, I've also been teaching myself After Effects.
Oh, good for you. Wow. And Dimension, it sounds like.
Yeah. I took the class at Adobe Max, and I seem to pick it up pretty easily.
Which one did you take? The one with Jeanette?
I believe so. It was my last class.
On like Friday afternoon?
Yeah,
that was Jeanette. Awesome. She's my colleague, so we're both product managers on this team. So cool. So so you're learning After Effects. Let's talk about new software. Like what motivates you to try to learn a new tool?
Mainly because I want to be well-rounded.
Okay.
So I feel like that's the only way, is to go online and watch tutorials and figure it out myself. So like I'll either recreate a project that one of my coworkers has done, or I'll do something completely different to help out everyone else, or to do something that I can give my boss, be like, hey, maybe this will help out. Or if you want to bounce ideas off this and see where it goes. But mainly to be more well-rounded.
And when you say well-rounded, like what do you mean by that?
Well, like I do photography, so I feel like that helps me out to be well-rounded, because I know photo editing and what to look for when taking a photo compared to like if someone off the street would take a photo. So this way, because we do a lot of our photography in-house too, instead of hiring someone.
Okay.
So that's a big thing. So it's just stuff along those lines.
Got it. And what's the benefit of being well-rounded?
Well, personally for myself, if I ever go to get another job, a lot of postings like that, video editing. But I just want to be able to do more than be stuck in one program.
Got it. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, okay, let's talk about your hardware. What computer are you using at work?
I use an iMac.
Okay.
I want to say it's from 2016. I don't really know too much about the specs, but I know it does have updated stuff on it, like more RAM, and I think it has a 2 terabyte hard drive on it.
Nice.
So
you're not running out of space anytime
soon. No, it's great. I used to freelance at a place, and the computers were so small, and it drove me nuts.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you say, so actually, do you mind me asking about, you said you've been at your job a year? No, longer? Yeah. Okay, 1 year. And what was your path before that? How'd you get there?
I graduated college in 2016. So has it been 2016? Yeah, 2016. I lose track of time.
No, I do
too. I graduated in May, and then I started freelancing right after. A few weeks later in June, I went over to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Partners in Napier.
No, I haven't.
They're a pretty big ad agency in Rochester. I actually commute to Rochester, so I drive 600 miles a week to get to work.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's a long haul.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
So I freelanced with them from June until about September, October-ish, and then freelanced with another agency in Buffalo, went back over to Partners in Rochester, and then now I'm at my current job now in Rochester.
Okay. All right. Still driving a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, that's my cat in the background.
Aw. What's your cat's name?
Samantha. She's hunting me a toy.
Awesome. I'm going to get a nice present soon. Sorry. Okay. So, and then what was your school program that you went to?
I went to Villa Maria College for graphic design, and I also minored in photography.
Okay. All right.
And the only programs I really used in school were Illustrator and Photoshop.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So that was part of the thing why I always wanted to be well-rounded, because my first day at Partners, I had to learn InDesign on the fly.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah, that's not good. How'd you learn that? Like, what'd you do?
A lot of the one thing that's great about all the Adobe programs is they're all similar with shortcuts a lot of the times, which is great. But I was literally Googling everything.
Right. Yeah. So when you're starting out a new app, like you had to with InDesign, or with like Muse, for example? Like what are the first things you do when you're starting something new like that?
The first thing I do is when I actually have time and I'm doing it on my own, I will go and watch a lot of tutorials. I'll open up the interface, look at it, watch a tutorial. If I don't know what anything does, I'll Google what the icon does, and it's just mainly tutorials. On the fly, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
And then if I can't figure something out quickly, I'll Google it to get the answer really quickly, and then go back and keep going. Because in my opinion, InDesign's a lot like Illustrator with all the tools and everything. So I knew like T was the type tool and all that other stuff. So, but it was mainly like with putting the images in, the boxes, and it was a lot of that. And then the color thing on InDesign always still confuses me. Like select a color.
Yeah, I know, it's tricky. Cool. Well, so most of these apps, it sounds like you've had to continue using them for your job, but for something like Muse, so you're not directly doing web design in your role today, is that right?
No, I'm not. That is correct.
Okay. What keeps you wanting to continue to learn Muse? It's
mainly because there's a lot of web design out there, and I want to be able to do my own portfolio the way I want to. That's part of it. And the other thing is that at work we need to update our website. So I was kind of messing around with it to see if I'd be able to handle that project, because it would be a huge project for me to tackle just on my own.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason why I wanted to learn it. And I also took a class on that at Adobe Max to figure out if I would be able to handle it on my own.
Okay. What's the consensus?
As far as
handling it.
I think I'd be able to do it. It would take me a little while to get used to the program to do it. I think I'd be able to handle it, but we literally just had someone start to work on the website. They hired someone this week, so I kind of put it on the back burner for that. But I think I'd be able to handle it. Everything that I saw at Adobe Max made a lot of sense compared to, it was a lot better than watching 5 different tutorials, because they pretty much went through how to build it, when tutorials are only like 15-20 minutes, and then you have to click on the next one, or you have to piece together a few of them to figure out how to do something.
Right. Okay. So you like that format, the long format for learning? Okay.
Yes. What I specifically like is when I'm able to follow along with them. So that's what I really do like, because I learn not only by looking, but also by doing.
Got it. Cool. So, with Dimension, how did you find out about it?
I was literally scrolling through the apps that were available on the drop down from my toolbar on my computer. So I saw that I thought it was still in beta and everything, so I downloaded it on the computer, and we do a lot of 3D modeling at work. Okay. So I was like, if I could be able to possibly learn that and do something along those lines, that'd be great too. So I ended up downloading it. And then within a month or two, I knew I was going to Max. So I waited, and I definitely signed up for the class at Max. And I actually stumbled upon the one that was just added. And I was really excited because I dropped my Spark class for the Project Felix.
Yeah.
Now
sorry, Spark. No, we are so glad that you came to the class. So you found it, and you said before that you have a lot of people doing 3D modeling at the company. Is there a whole team that's like an engineering team doing that?
Well, we do it ourselves. I forget I think they use Maya.
Okay.
That's the program they use. So, and I know that's really expensive to download and to try out. So I was like, if I could do something along those lines in Dimensions, and stick with the Adobe products, that'd be great, and learn how to do it that way.
Mm-hmm. So, and did you tried it out before you went to Max?
Yeah, I tried it out, and then I didn't really get too far into it. And then really the first time I was really heavily exposed to it was at Max.
Okay.
And I felt like I picked it up fairly quickly.
Okay. Now that you know it's not a modeling app, what's your impression?
It's great for portfolio stuff. I want to actually redo all my mock-ups in it for my portfolio. And then I don't really have a lot of freelance clients on my own, so I'd use it to show them. I could see possibly, but I wanted to use it for work to do box mock-ups for my packaging at work.
Okay. When you say redo your mock-ups, like, do you have product design mock-ups that you have on your portfolio?
Yeah, I have like my own personal stuff that I've done. So I want to be able to throw them in on some of the stuff on Dimensions instead of just having flat labels or just any kind of flat pieces. This way it looks real, or at least more realistic, instead of using PSD mock-ups, which can be time consuming to find one that you like.
Yeah. So you've done that before where you've like used a template file?
Yeah, I use, for a lot of my portfolio stuff, I use a lot of PSD mock-ups.
Okay.
And it took me forever to find ones that I absolutely love in my portfolio.
What do you feel like it would do for your portfolio to have these better mock-ups or more realistic mock-ups?
I feel like the realistic element really sticks with people instead of making it, oh yeah, you did this, and even though it's not necessarily real and was an actual product, I mean, it doesn't look the best when it's flat. Or, I mean, some of the PSD mock-ups, you can tell they are a PSD mock-up too, so yeah. I feel like Dimensions gives it a better job at making it look realistic. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so what else about Dimension are you excited about? It sounds like you'd use it in your the end of a project, like before you go and get approvals, you'd use the design from Illustrator on the box model. Is that how it would go?
Yeah, for work, yeah, essentially. Or if they wanted to see how something would look before I actually completely did the whole thing, or redid, because we have multiple products that use the same box essentially, or the same template and the same look and feel. So instead of me going through and doing all of them, I could really just mock up one of them and then show how it would look in real life essentially. Instead of doing all of them and then just having flat prints, it would give them more of an idea, especially like stacking stuff.
Yeah, tell me more about that. What do you mean by stacking stuff?
So like this would be like the side of a box right here. Just say the square, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like stacking them levelly on a table.
Oh, like repeating it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something that you do for like showing them how it would look in a store? Or I just want to know.
A lot of it is how, because we supply to hospitals, so a lot of it is we have to keep in mind on what side of a box they're going to see something. So and it's a lot of stacking.
Okay. Because they got to be able to find what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, cool. And yeah, besides the no double decal issue, what else would you like to see in the app that you don't see in there today?
There was one other thing, and I forgot about it. And I was thinking about it on my drive home. I had a really long day at work, too, so it
Oh, I'm
doesn't
sorry.
help.
Thank you so much for.
No problem. I got out late. Traffic was ridiculous, and
Oh,
yeah, I
that's the
had to
worst.
drive in early because there was snow, and
Oh,
there was one other thing, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Because I know a lot of it is because I only use the free stuff that was on there for the stuff at work right now. So
mhm.
that's kind of all I was really messing around with at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, it took me a while to figure out. I believe it's PNGs that you can only export out of Illustrator to use on there. You can't use JPEGs.
That's right. For now, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what?
'cause I just assumed it would be a JPEG, and it took me a little while to figure it out.
I see. Yeah, let's talk about interop. What in your perfect world, how would you want to bring your designs over from Illustrator or InDesign?
What would be great is, oh yeah, I've also taught myself XD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're like our poster child, I swear. That's awesome.
The great thing about XD is being able to it's kind of like using the screenshots and then copying and pasting it right over. That'd
Yeah.
be awesome to do in Dimensions because it would save me a lot of time instead of exporting out JPEGs or PDFs or pings and then importing and bringing them in. That would make my workflow faster.
So just copying the screenshot or the design and then pasting it?
Yeah, like how XD does it, you literally just go into Illustrator or Photoshop and you're able to make using the dancing ants, copy it, and then go back over to XD and then paste it in there.
Yeah, that's pretty slick, huh?
Yeah, that would be a great addition to Dimensions because it would be a lot faster.
Yeah.
Especially just for mocking stuff up. I mean, I understand if you wanted it to be final, you would have to export, but just getting rough ideas out, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. What about, do you use any sort of smart objects or linked files currently?
I use them in InDesign and Photoshop.
Okay.
Photoshop, I'll use the smart objects a lot when I have, because we do a lot of very, very in-depth photos. So like I have to make sure that if I scale it, it's not going to get distorted, or if I make it small and I need to go back again, I'm not messing up the original image.
Right.
And then InDesign, I understand the InDesign one a lot more, a lot better in my opinion. So I'm not afraid of editing that. So I'll leave it in Photoshop and then I know how to do the edit.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, any other ways you'd like to see Dimension work with other apps in Adobe?
I've never even really thought about that. Just trying to think. Because there's already a lot of neat stuff that you could do, like you could bring in your own photo, which I thought would be neat for the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be awesome because I could potentially take my own photo and then do everything like that. But I haven't really thought about that, actually.
Yeah. Well, you can bring in your own photo today. You know that, right?
Yeah, in Dimensions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. I learned that when at Max.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. So you mentioned that you were, the other people at your firm use Maya. Can we talk a little bit more about that process? Is it people on your team, like the multimedia people?
Yeah, only it's my boss and one other person who know how to who work in those.
And what are they doing with that?
They're just creating like mock-ups of our products, essentially.
Okay. And are these devices or are they the packaging boxes?
The devices themselves.
Okay. Do you know if they're getting any sort of CAD files from like engineering or anything like that?
That I'm not sure of, but I know the engineers use CAD.
Okay.
But I have no idea along those lines.
Okay. Um, and does your do the people that use Maya, do they render out from Maya? Do you know?
I know I do hear them say that a lot.
Okay.
They do render out.
We may have to take a trip to Rochester and interview everybody. um, all right. So let's talk about so are you actively doing any freelance work right now?
Not at the moment. I mean, I do a little photography stuff here and there.
And when you do, your stuff for fun, like what kind of stuff is that? Like the photography and stuff like that you were saying in the beginning.
I just go out and I just shoot stuff. So like if I go to a park, I'll bring my camera with me and take pictures of that. I'm supposed to have a photo shoot tomorrow. One of my friends wants to take pictures with her horse, but she keeps on rescheduling on me.
Okay.
But it's
sounds like it's really cold for that too.
No pants.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to do wedding photography too.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I would second shoot. I wouldn't do one on my own, but I know a few people who do them on their own, and they needed second shooters, so I would do it.
That's so cool.
Stressful.
Yeah, I know. No pressure, right? Okay, and so could you think of using Dimension for that kind of work at all, or?
For my photography stuff, I never really thought about using it. I mainly just thought about using it for my like product lines, or like I really want to redo the stuff in my portfolio with it. Eventually when I get around to it.
Yeah, and all your extra time. So you're a very creative person, and it sounds like you have a really active, you're just doing graphic design all the time. Do you post your work to any social channels in particular?
No, I don't really like posting it to Facebook. I feel like a lot of people kind of like will steal my ideas because I have a lot of my friends that I follow and whatnot. I mean, I know some of them don't mean to do it on purpose, but subconsciously you think about it. So I'm always real careful about that because a lot of people in school would do that to me. Like I would recycle something I was working on, and then all of a sudden someone in another class who was a year or two below me was doing something very similar.
Aw, that's not cool.
So
they do say the highest form of a compliment is imitation, so.
Thank you. So ever since because of that, I'm always very leery of posting on Facebook my work. Like I'll do my photography stuff. I'll put my logo in the corner or anything along those lines. But design wise, I'm very weary about that.
Got it. And do you have any place that you go to for inspiration, like when you're trying to think about a new project or get some ideas?
I like a few like photography. But it's like PF. I know Photographers Forum, but there's a few other photography ones that I'll scroll through on Facebook. I know for like graphic stuff, I'll use Creative Market. If anything, I just think of something and then I'll Google stuff along those lines to get inspiration. Yeah. I actually use Google a lot.
Yeah.
Google Images.
What did we do before Google?
I have no idea.
It's crazy to think about it. And then do you read any sort of blogs or, follow any artists on a regular basis?
Not really. I don't really read blogs. I follow the one photographer who does the underwater shoots. I can never remember his name, but he does the ones where professional divers hold their breaths and they're in like elaborate dresses or.
Oh wow, I don't know that one.
Yeah, he's really cool. He does a lot of underwater photography. I think Nike just hired him to do a photo shoot for him.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. That sounds fun. And do you, oh, I know. Do you ever use any sort of Adobe stock at all?
Every once in a while, like when we do stock imagery, I'll check out, we'll go through Getty, Adobe stock, we'll look to, and then one other one. We'll go through there and then we'll see which one has the better one that we like or whatever the owner likes, and then we'll buy them that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have used some Adobe stock, but it's whatever one of the three that we primarily use.
Yeah.
iStock.
iStock, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever checked out the 3D assets on there?
No, I haven't yet. I know a lot of, you'd have to get a lot of them through there to buy them for Dimensions. I knew that. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really checked it out yet because I felt like there was no need right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So eventually, when there is more of a need, I would.
Got it. Yeah, actually, I'm curious. So it sounds like, well, you tell me. What would you need to have happen in Dimension in order to really start using it in your workflow?
The main thing would be the more than one side.
Yeah.
So that way, then I'd be able to show people more about it. The other thing which I would be neat, and I know that's not what it is, but a 3D modeling program would be really cool because I really want to start messing around with 3D because a lot of agencies I've been at do 3D renderings like that, mock-ups and drawings.
When you say agencies, so you're seeing agencies really like to produce that work, or like people that can do that work?
I think so. The person that I sat next to was doing like 3D mock-ups. So like of displays and stuff.
Okay. Was this at the prior agency you were at?
Yeah, the prior ones, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you gained this skill of 3D modeling, like what would that do for your career, you think?
I feel like that would open up more doors because I'd be more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm using that again, but I really truly do think that that's the better way to go than just being specialized in one thing.
Yeah. Very smart. Very, very smart. Awesome. Well, the only other things I have to ask are around, like, basically, where do you see yourself? Like, where do you want to go from the company you're at, the role you're at? Like, what's your goal?
I would love to do more creative freedom stuff. I mean, I understand, I know in-house it's very, I knew this going into it, it's very rigid and there's not really a lot of creative freedom. And even the past agency roles I've been at, I haven't had a lot of creative freedom. So I've been trying to take on freelance projects whenever I can to try to express myself more or try to do personal projects to try to do that. But I would love, my ideal job would be to have one that has more creative freedom. So I love coming up with ideas and I love coming up with like taglines and drawing images and creating images, editing them, just more of that. And I mean, right now it's just like a plug-in what I do.
Yeah.
Plug in, change something. That's all I really ever experienced.
Right, right. And yeah, I think that is the tough thing. I think those things come with experience. That old chicken and the egg. I went through it too. And let's see, are you comfortable sharing your age with me?
I am 26.
Okay. And are you married?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any kids?
Oh no, I have a cat.
She's getting your toy.
Oh yeah, she wakes me up at 3 a.m.
Oh,
She's hungry.
you must love her a lot.
Yeah, she's 15. She's getting up there.
Oh wow, 15.
Yeah.
That's old for a cat, right?
Yeah, we just recently found out that she's allergic to fish.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because she
Oh.
wasn't doing so well 6 months ago, and it was just dumb luck we figured that out.
Oh my gosh. That is scary. Oh, well, I hope it's Samantha, right?
Yep.
I wish Samantha well.
Oh, she's doing good.
That's good. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time. Are there any questions you have for me?
Just about the gift card. Was it I was supposed to fill out my whole address? Because I just put
I should be able to send it to you through email because you're in the US. Sometimes with out of the country, it's a different thing, but should be really straightforward. So I'll probably process that. Might not be tonight, but probably over the weekend.
Fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions about the application or anything like that?
Not that I can think of at the moment. If I think of anything, will I be able to email you?
Absolutely. You're always able to email us. I don't know if you know about our user voice forums, but we have a forum where you can submit feedback and feature requests right inside the app. And then there's also a site for it too.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So if you want to add a vote to adding more flexibility to the decal feature, that's certainly a top ranked feature on our forum. Yeah, and so we check that all the time, and we give updates on what kind of features we're working on. The other thing is I can invite you to our pre-release program if you're interested in that, because that's where we release the non-public builds, and we give interested users a chance to test early things and give us feedback on that. So if you're interested, I can invite you to that as well.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Okay. Now the feedback thing, is that only in Dimensions or is that in any other app?
A couple other apps use the same forum. I think every single app at Adobe has a public forum where you can request features and stuff like that. But I think only us and Dreamweaver are the ones that have a widget inside the app. You'll see it. It's in the upper right-hand corner. And you just click on it, and then you can submit either a bug report or a feature request. And then, but I know XD has the same forum. It's just not in their app. You have to go to the website to access it.
Because I knew about the one that was like I find on Google when I need troubleshooting stuff. Mm-hmm. I know about that one, but I didn't know that there was actually ones inside of the apps.
Yeah, it's right in there. It's not like a live tech support. Some of those like online apps can do that. We don't have the manpower to staff that.
I totally get
that. but no, that's what our product team does. We go in and we check that forum all the time, and it's actually a lot of Jeanette. She's like amazing at updating people and answering questions. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I will send you an invite to the pre-release. I'll get your gift card all set up, and I can't thank you enough for sharing your time, especially at the end of a long day. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome. Oh, for the pre-release, would I be able to do that for my work one?
I believe so. There shouldn't be any restrictions.
Okay. Because that's mainly what I would be trying it out for right now would be at work.
Do you also have Creative Cloud at home, or do you only have it on your work computer?
Mainly only on my work computer.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Whatever Adobe ID gives you access to the app currently. So if that's your work one, then use it for that one.
Okay.
Let's see. If you don't have Creative Cloud at home, then you'd have to pay for a license of Dimension to use the pre-release.
Yeah, because I mainly just wanted to mess around with it at work.
Do it. We'd love that. Get us all your feedback. That's what we need.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Jessica.
Bye-bye.
Bye.